Hi everyone, I'm Pat Prokop in the Heavenly Backyard Garden with Heavenly Backyard Astronomy. Now last night it was a crystal clear night. It is crystal clear at the moment, but we're still in twilight. However, off to the north-northwest there's a big bank of cirrus clouds moving in. So that's really going to impale tonight's weather forecast with cloudy weather conditions. So when the sky gets dark enough to start taking the imagery, clouds are going to move in. But last night I was working with two different telescopes. I was working with the Stellarium HD. Well, right now I'm taking flats from last night's imagery. I used the HD at f10, its native stage. That's a focal length of 2,800 millimeters. Yeah, that's a long focal length, but I was using it primarily for the planets. I was after Saturn, and I thought, well, Saturn, not too far behind Saturn, is the planet Neptune. Now, the other planets are in the morning sky as well. You have behind Neptune, you have Jupiter, and you have Uranus, Mars, Venus, and Mercury, all in the morning sky. However, off to my east where those planets are rising, I have a lot of trees. I have a big holly tree here, and then my neighbor has a big magnolia tree over there, and then other pine trees and oak trees over there in the southeastern sky where the planets are. And Saturn is leading the pack right now, and it rises shortly before midnight. And it'll clear those trees around 3:30 in the morning, and Neptune is also clearing the trees at about 4:30 in the morning. So I thought I'd try to give it a shot, see if I can pick up Saturn and Neptune from last night. I tried to get Jupiter, but it was still in the trees as of 5 o'clock in the morning, and I just really couldn't wait until 5:45, 6 o'clock, as dawn was already cracking by that time to get Jupiter. I'll have to wait for another night coming up in a couple of weeks, or even another month from now. And Mars as well, just too far away, and Uranus just too far into the trees at the moment. But I'm going to be attempting to get those targets. Last night I did get Saturn, and I did get Neptune. The first time I have ever recorded Neptune. And I want to show you how I did that as well. In the past, it was like almost impossible to find Neptune because it's so small. Even with f10 and a focal length of 2,800 millimeters, let me show you how small it is. It is just a dot in the sky, a little greenish blue dot up in the sky. However, I was able to manage to find it using N.I.N.A and the plate solving techniques and routines in N.I.N.A to find Neptune. Saturn was rather easy, but Neptune, yeah, that's a different story. And someone suggested, well, why don't you try to get Pluto as well? So yeah, I'm going to put that on my list, using N.I.N.A's plate solving to find Pluto. That'll be interesting. So let's go upstairs and take a look at how I did that. Well, first of all, this is how I find the planets in N.I.N.A using the plate solving technique. Well, first of all, you have to open up N.I.N.A, of course, and then go to the framing. Now, there's no way you can type in the planets. I don't think there's a way of finding the planets in N.I.N.A. However, if you have Stellarium on your system or another Sky Atlas type software, find your target. In this case, I went into Find, search window, and I typed in Neptune. Let's type it in. And it found it right there. I already had it preset, but there's Neptune. Now, the next thing you do is just center it with your sensor over here, position, and there it is in the center of the screen. Now from that you can minimize Stellarium and go back into N.I.N.A, and then this little button here, if you have your system set up correctly, in the options and over into equipment and planetarium. The planetarium, you have different selections you can pick from, the type of planetarium that you're using. I have Stellarium, so I click on that, and I have Stellarium set up to export. And then I just click on go back to the framing, and I just click on this little button right here, get coordinates from the planetarium. And I do that, and it's going to load in now the sky for that particular coordinate that I have for Neptune, and it's loading the imagery right now. And now Neptune supposedly is in that location right there. So once I have that set, and then I can slew and center to the object. Well, and this is a demo right now, so I don't have the telescope connected, and plus Neptune's not even above the horizon yet anyway. But that's what you would do. You can just slew and center to the object, and then find the object, fine-tune it. So let's set up Stellarium to transfer the coordinates from the planetarium over to N.I.N.A. And the first thing you want to do is go into your configuration window and open that up, and go into plugins. It might have opened up to main. Just go over to plugins, and then from plugins go to remote control, and make sure that the load on startup is clicked. If it's not, click it, and then close this, restart Stellarium, and then go back into that program again. So configuration window, plugins, remote control, and then go into configure. And from there, you want to make sure that these are connected, and the server enabled and enable automatic on startup. Make sure those two are clicked, and just say save current as the default, and you can close that out. You can close this out, and now when you go into any object that you select, say Jupiter for example, click on the image sensor frame from that, and then from there you can directly load that into N.I.N.A. So what I use is SharpCap to zero in on my planets, and from there I can record the planet. So, and that's what I did, and it worked out perfectly. It zoomed right in. It was centered directly onto Neptune. I could barely see it. Let me show you what it looked like in the movie file. You don't see very much. You know, Saturn shows up okay. I mean, it's really small. Considering how big the telescope is, Saturn looks quite small. And if that looks small, let's take a look at Neptune. Now, Neptune was nearly 3 billion miles away when I took this image, 2.7 billion miles away when I took this image, and it is really small. Look how small it actually appears in the viewfinder. And I had the 11-inch telescope does pick it up. So I'm anxious to see what it's going to do with Uranus. That's the next planet in from Neptune. But that's still too low right now. I can't see it until a couple of months from now. But I'm going to try that. And as somebody suggested, you know, why not even try Pluto with this type of configuration? I could find Pluto. Yeah. So let's try it anyway someday. Not tonight, because all I have was Neptune and Saturn. Let's go into that right now. So let's do a quick stacking of Saturn in AutoStackered, and I have it here. Let's open it up, and the file over here, well, it was Neptune. Let's do Saturn. Let's take this first one right here, and there's the video file right there. So I'm just going to load that into AutoStackered, and there it is right there. And I can zoom in a little bit if I want, just to, you know, for looking at it. What you try to do is, you know, just go ahead and quickly scan through it. If you see a really good frame, go ahead and lock on that. Like, you wouldn't want to lock on that one because it was distorted. You got atmospheric distortion. That one looks pretty good right there. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select my grid side. Since the planet is so small, I'm going to bring it down to, I think you can take it down to 16. I think this is pixels, and I set this as and close to the edge, and place AP grid. Okay, do that. There's the Saturn picture there. Now over here, you want to have this set at planet, and I have it at local, and then analyze. Do analyzation, and do that. And there you can see a lot of good frames, and then it begins to fall off with the bad frames. So what I like to do, though, you know, and this one I only took 1,000 frames, but the other ones I took 5,000 frames, and I just take 10%. I mean, that's, you know, out of 1,000 frames, that's what? That's 100 frames. So that's not bad. So let's go and stack. And this is just a simple stacking right here, and it's done. And if we want to look at the product, let's see if I can bring it up over here. It brings it up over on this screen over here. There it is. There's the planet itself. Now, that's 100 frames stacked. I can zoom in on that just to show you. It's a little, you know, out of focus, I guess you would say, a little blurry looking. Well, there's more to do, so then we can close out Auto Stacker right now. And let's go into a program called RegiStack. I just went into RegiStack over here, and what I'm going to do, you can stack in RegiStack too, but I prefer to do Auto Stacker, then import the final image into RegiStack over here. Planets, Saturn, I did P10, and it's 10%, and there's my image right there. So I'm going to load that in right now, and again, I can zoom in a little bit, show full image. I can do that. Now, over here, you can play with these over here by moving them up and down and what have you. And you can also use a different routine there, but the default's pretty good. And I have a one that I already saved. Let's see. Let's try Saturn 1. And so now that's a little too hot right there. But see, you can play with these images over here, these controls over here to get the image you want. And see, that's overkill. And you play around with it, and you can see that one's going to be what have you. And that one's not going to change it too much. That one, yeah, that one's an important one. As you can see, it modifies it somewhat. You don't want to overexpose it, but you don't want to underexpose it either. So right about there. And then this one here, let's see, that one looks pretty good. So we're already looking a little bit better right there. And then you hit Do All, and then you save the image if you want to save that. Now, that looks pretty good. I mean, the planet does appear yellow up in the sky as a yellow star. But over here, RGB balance. Let's see, it's going to probably pull the screen up way over here. Let me go get it and pull it over. There it is. What you can do, now watch. Here's the planet right here. And you go into auto balance. Does that look better? And then you can save that. Save image as. And I'm just going to call it Saturn RGB. Yeah. And there it is. Now I can also go into one more phase, and I can go into Photoshop. I have an image of the Ring Nebula I'm working on right now. I took that before I took the planets. While I was waiting for the planets to rise, I did take the Ring Nebula with the Celestron using 2-minute subframes. I took about 110 of them, I think. Anyway, let's open up a file. Open this one right here, P10. I saved it right there. So I bring that. That's how big it is. Now, so you look at the size, image size. You can see it's only 320 by 240. That's the cut frame that I used in SharpCap to capture the planet. So what I want to do is I'm going to greatly amplify that. I'm going to make it up to 2400. And let's see what that does. Yeah, that really brings it up. Now, what you can do is go into your different filters and so forth. Camera raw filter is a good one. What we can do is we can play around with the contrast. See how that, bring it down just a little bit, and the highlights like so. You can play with the shadows, kind of like it helps with the focus. Utility, I mean the whites. I mean, you can play around with these guys, and the black levels again. And then look over here. These two are my favorite. Clarity and texture. Watch what happens. Bring up that. See how it's bringing up those bands in the atmosphere, and texture. So you can see almost the top of the planet. I guess that's the South Pole, and you can dehaze it. Bring it out a little bit more, And then vibrance, bring out more color if you want. Maybe it's too much, you don't want to overdo it. That looks pretty good right there. You can even see some of the spokes and the rings here. So I'm going to say okay. And of course, now that's a little bit too big. I'm going to zoom out here. There's the size. That's how I do it. And that was Saturn, and then I had Neptune. Saturn was what, 860 million miles away, or 0.8 of a billion miles away, and then Neptune was 2.8 billion miles away when I took its picture. So yeah, let's take a look at that at the end. So thanks for watching. While I was doing all of that, I was working rig number 2, the N.I.N.A 130 millimeter telescope. I have it covered right now because it's so hot at the moment. I'll take the cover off later on tonight. But while I was doing that, I had that telescope pointed at the IC 1396, which is the Elephant Trunk Nebula. And I was shooting that in narrowband using the hydrogen alpha, the sulfur 2, and the oxygen 3. And hopefully I got a good image out of that, and I'm putting that together right now. I probably need more data. I only have about 5 hours on it right now. Another 5 to 10, maybe even 15 more hours on this would do it justice. As I noticed, the nebulosity is very, very dim. Anyway, I'm getting something, and I'll show you what I have so far at the end of this video. But I would like to thank all my subscribers. I'm approaching 4,000 subscribers. Wow, I wouldn't have believed I would gotten that much, but I'm hoping for more. And if you do like this kind of video, besides astronomy, I also do a lot of this gardening work out here too. I have gardening videos, and feel free to subscribe to my channel. I give you a lot of good products. I think you might like it if you like this type of programming. So go ahead and subscribe. And I also thank my people who have joined my channel to give me a little extra support for all my ventures out here in the heavenly backyard garden. Now the planets are dominating the morning sky and moving into the nighttime sky. Saturn's already now rising before midnight, and Neptune is right behind it by about an hour, then followed by Jupiter, and then what after Jupiter? Mars, and then Uranus, Venus, and Mercury, all in the morning skies right now. So you take your pick or pick all of them and see how many you can get in one night's. I can only get 2 at the moment because of these trees in my background, but they'll be coming into view shortly. And I also just ordered a new planetary camera, and of course, like everything else, it's back ordered, so hopefully I'll get it by the middle of July, if not sooner. I'm very wishful thinking right now. That might aid in getting even some better pictures of the planets. And of course, as I go on in time, the planets are getting closer. Saturn was less than 1 billion miles away, and by the middle of the summer, end of summer, Saturn should be about 500 million miles away. So yeah, it sounds far, but it's a lot closer than what it is right now. And the other planets are getting closer as well. Mars is going to be dominating the sky in the late summer and early autumn as a fiery red planet. And of course, you always had the fun of looking at Jupiter, the giant red spot, and the moons of Jupiter as they orbit around the giant gas planet. And not just the planets. And of course, you have the nebula as well, the nebulae for plural, moving in the Sagittarius arm of the Milky Way, which is now rising at a little before midnight. So you're getting all that activity to view as well. So remember, everything is up there, all in a sky near you, the majestic wonders of the universe. And remember to go out and just look up. And when you do look up, then look at the stars. Unless you need rain, clear skies, everyone. Oh, it's hot out here. It's approaching 100 degrees. That's Fahrenheit. 37, I think, Celsius.